Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Columbus Municipal School District regular meeting. Today is Monday, August the 12th, and the time is 5 o'clock p.m. We do have a quorum today. We have with us Mr. Robert Smith, Dr. Josie Shoemake, Mrs. Talisa Young, Mr. James Richardson, and myself, Dr. Cynthia Brown. We will have the invocation by Reverend Richardson, followed by the pledge.
Let us pray. Most gracious and eternal God, our Father, it's again that we come before you with thanksgiving and praise in our hearts. Thanking you, Heavenly Father, for all the many wonderful blessings that are bestowed upon us. Thank you for keeping us thus far, bringing us to this present time. Lord, we thank you most of all for your grace and your mercy through your darling Son, Jesus, dying on Calvary and you raising him from the dead with all power in his hand. Lord, we thank you for everything you have done, you're doing, and you're about to do. Lord, we pray now as we assemble here as a board and as district, Lord, that we will put others first, our children and others, God, our community. Father, let us lay aside all personal agendas. Father, what be about that would be pleasing and pleasant in thy sight. And when we have concluded, we be careful to render your name all the thanks, the praise, the honor, and the glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please stand for the pledge. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item 3, adoption of agenda, policy BBB, policy BCBD. Is there a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Mr. Richardson. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Item 4, Board of Education, policy BCBD, consideration to approve the minutes for July 2nd, 11, 24, 29, and 31 for special call meetings and regular board meeting.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Richardson and a second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Item B, 4B, trustee district review. Number 1 is trustee travel report, and we do have some travel from 3 of us.
I'll discuss the session that, a couple of sessions that I attended, and one of them to where I got a lot out of, it was building bridges, enhancing board and superintendent collaboration, and the presenter was Dr. Robert Williams, superintendent of Hattiesburg Public Schools, and statement that he made as a board and the superintendent, you're a bridge builder or a bridge destroyer, and that the superintendent can't get the board without hurting the students, and the board can't get the superintendent without hurting the students also, and that relationships are like building bridges. They require time and effort, and what makes the bridge so strong is your blueprint in your district should be your strategic plan. And the other one dealing with the superintendent and the board was the presenter was Dr. Corey Olson, who's the superintendent of the Soda County Schools, the largest school district in the state of Mississippi. I think they have an enrollment of about 35,000. And what he talked about was discussed was communication challenges, both internally and externally in the school district, and developing strategies for knowing whom to inform, when to inform, and how to inform the public.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Any questions? Mr. Richardson?
One of the sessions I attended was directed by a young man who actually got his start here in Columbus, Dr. Torrey Holloway, who was the superintendent of Vicksburg School District. And one of the things that he emphasized and made a point is that if you want a strong school district, schools and all, it had to be a place where everybody was going to be excited about what they were doing. When workers come to work and not happy, then you're not going to get good results. So his thing where it develop a relationship with everybody from the board down, where the people that's responsible for making it happen is excited about making it happen, because where there are disgruntled people, there are negative results. Also, like Dr. Williams from Hattiesburg, one thing he said that really got me, his thing where he wasn't so much focused on district getting an A, B, C, or something of that nature. He said he was in, his thing was the 3 E's. Make sure students can be employed, be enlisted, or be enrolled. And that's what I got from him.
Okay, thank you. My session that I wanted to talk about was by Dr. Noel Cochran. And Dr. Noel Cochran has 30 years experience in education, industry, and mental health. His title was Mind Matters, Promoting Mental Wellness for School Leaders. The first thing that he talked about was that educators are leaving at an alarming rate for several reasons, and they are inadequate preparation, lack of mentor support, challenging conditions, and other opportunities, personal reasons, and compensation. There were also some facts that he gave us that interested me, and that was that we are a nation at risk. Increase in mental health diagnosis, 15% in mental health diagnosis for those aged 35 to 44, 50% for those aged 18 to 34 report self-reported substances, mental health symptoms, and 37% of those over 18 had a diagnosed mental health condition. We also have an increase in stress. 24% rate their stress between an 8 and a 10. 67% won't seek help. 47% wish they had someone to help. 62% don't want to be burdened. And the last thing that he said was educators are twice as likely to be stressed. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Moving to item 2 under B, discussion and consideration of capital improvement plan for the CMSD. Mr. Little.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like to start out on the capital improvement list that we've had for quite some time now. Have a few updates on it. I'll make sure it's all updated, sent to you next month on your papers. The one was the walkway from McKellar to over to the high school. You know, it was in pretty bad shape. It was put into the roofing package that they're doing right now. So it has been completed, that section, so I'm gonna make sure it's marked complete on here. We also had one on here for Fairview parking lot, the striping of that parking lot. We kind of waited on that for just a little bit because the parking lot was in pretty bad shape. We patched all the potholes in there, and since the lines were faded so bad, we went ahead and had that stripe, so we'll add that to it. On the athletic complex, the first one was the baseball field house. Of course, we all know the locker room, we did pull the carpet out. We put new flooring in there, so we'll update that on here. And then also in that hitting facility, some more benches for the baseball locker room. They've been purchased and put together and put in there. And you also have the June update for the month of June, work that was completed by the maintenance department. I always add a few extra things on here, call it out for the athletic complex. We did repair the insulation in the ceiling. We painted both ticket booths for the football, home and visitor side. Of course, the grounds, we've been keeping that up also. We've repaired some of the showers. We're still waiting on some of the shower heads, everything to come in. I went by and talked to them personally myself, and they guaranteed within the next week or so we should have all the parts. We also painted the concession stand on the home side behind the bleachers. Replaced a valve back in the room where all the water heaters are. back there had a valve leak and we replaced it. We removed and cleaned the door grills. I think that came up last time we walked through. We pulled all the door grills out, pressure washed them, repainted them, put them back in. And then we had some problem with some sprinklers on the football field, and we replaced some of them. The air conditioner for the concession stand and ticket booth on the home side has been replaced. Compressor went out on it. That unit was over 15 years old, so the price of putting a compressor in, fixing it, or replacing it, I chose to go ahead and replace it. And we do have some more painting that we've done in the field house and the locker rooms. That's all I have for right now.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Lip.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Moving to item 4. I'm sorry, item 3. Discussion of the Hunt campus recovery, review of expenditures and reimbursement payments for project. Mr. Chapman.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Gildas, and his apologies for not being able to make it this evening. He wanted me to let you know that he was having a procedure on his eye, so he was not be able to be here today because he had to get back home for his procedure tomorrow. But we did have our meeting today, our monthly meeting, and we are still seeing work progress in the building throughout Hunt. The gym is in the process of being painted. Actually, the majority of it is, they've already painted the gym, but they're still working throughout that area, and I think that will be the first area of that project that will be complete. The windows are 95% installed. There were about 8 windows that were on back order, but they should be in sometime this week. And we also had about 3 that were damaged on July 31st with the break-in. So those are coming in as well. We still don't have permanent power. The switchgear is in, but the transformer that was provided by the city was too small, so they're working on getting a larger transformer to bring in, and hopefully that will put some power into that building. We've had a few break-ins, which is something that they really have to look at since the 31st. We've had about 3. One July 31st, 1 today, this morning. Mr. Ricky said he was able to prevent them from getting in, but by the time he got there, they got away. But we did make those police reports. They are looking at purchasing some more cameras to put on the back that will catch motion when a person comes through, but also once we get more electricity in, we can maybe be able to get some better camera systems that will catch some of the things that's happening. Really hasn't, the only thing right now, there were some wires that were taken, but they did have enough to run throughout the rest of the building, so that really didn't affect them completing the work. But also with the windows, we have to replace about 3. So the expected completion date is 1st of November. They said between that completion date and December, they will start doing their punch lines to kind of walk through with the administration to just kind of check off and talk about some of the things that were completed. So I would say 100% with them out of the building will probably be sometime in December. That's our update for Hunt. Any questions?
So we'll be ready in December.
Yes, he said.
Projected.
Projected. That's what I was sharing. 100% complete. They'll be out the building by that time, and so.
That's a big hope.
That's what I'm hoping. That's the hope.
Have the lockers been installed in the gymnasium locker room?
No, sir, not yet. Not the lockers. He said actually with the locker room, a lot of those supplies are coming in. So this should be in the next few weeks when that locker, the gym and everything is ready. So they're moving.
And that's first considering the break-ins, the Maryland Council, along with the Light and Water Department, has agreed to install lighting it and light it up from 14th Avenue, and,
Okay.
from 7th Avenue to 14th Avenue, on 20th Street to I believe 22nd Street. That's my understanding.
Yes, sir. And I know we're talking with Dr. Ellis, and we just have to talk a little bit about tomorrow, what else we can do. to kind of help prevent that. Because we know in the next few weeks, once a lot more equipment start coming in, we could really be in a vulnerable situation with a lot of expensive items coming through. So we have to try to find a way to, protect those. That was one of their concerns as well, because there are some expensive items there now, but they know in the next few weeks, more things will start coming in. So we have to try to figure out a way to prevent some more
Have
break-ins.
have they considered maybe doing a temporary fencing with concertina wire around the top of it until they get there?
We
The-
say,
Go
Red,
ahead.
Doing a temporary fencing and put the concertina wire around the top, the razor wire?
but to my understanding, they cutting the fence.
Right.
Cutting holes in the fence.
Right.
So in other words, instead of going to the top, they just cutting in the center.
Right.
That's my understanding, right?
That
Mr.
is
Chairman,
correct.
that
That's what
happened
he, that's what he
this
should,
morning
yes, sir.
before 5?
Yes, sir, that's what
Yeah.
was shared today, that he was, he heard the sawing or, can't remember what he called it, going on when he got around, the person that got in the way, but yeah, that's what, yes, sir.
They also supposed to be installing a camera over there also,
Okay.
right?
The city council, or,
With the city.
oh,
yeah.
right,
Yeah.
yes, sir. So,
So what are they, mostly, getting out of their building? Is it copper?
Copper, the first time he said they had some equipment, some supplies, that were taken. Didn't realize until later that what was going on, but they had some equipment, supplies they were using to help, I guess some of the equipment they were using to build that was taken. So mainly, like I said, the copper and wires, a lot of that was taken on the 31st. But, I guess it's the fear of just vandalizing without taking anything could be a possibility, so.
So what does the police department suggest?
Well, they are patrolling a lot more, and we've made the reports. And so right now, that's what we're able to do, make those reports, and they'll continue to try to patrol more to kind of help, be in that area to prevent anything. But it's at different times. So like I said, this morning was at almost close to 5 o'clock when it happened. And so it's just, if somebody's able to be around at that particular time to prevent it. But as far as having someone there on site, around the clock, that's not, right now, not feasible.
So hopefully when they, install the, lights, and put a camera over there, hopefully that'll help out from the
Right.
vandals, whoever vandalizing the building.
More questions? Thank you, Mr. Chapman. Moving to item 4, contract renewal updates. Board, you've reviewed those. Are there any questions about those? No questions. Moving to item 5, discussion of the added territory. I guess I can define the added territory, and that would be our area that is within our school district, but located outside the city limits. And the number of students that live in that area is our concern, the percentage. So as of the 7th of August, Dr. Ellis and I talked, and the MSIS clerk and a couple of other people, and the numbers of students that we have in our district is 3,032, and the number of students that live in that area is 548, which would give us 18%. And I'll yield the floor to Mr. Hemphill, if you will, give us a little discussion about it, that AG report.
A few years ago, we had gotten close, we thought, but then we had some numbers that changed significantly. So we went down to well below 15%, but according to Mississippi law, if a school district has more than 15%, 15% or more, so it's a straight on 15% or plus one student, then a school district has to elect at least one trustee from in the added territory. Accordingly, this year with those numbers, with the way they have changed with students, total number of students coming down added territory students going up over the past. We've now calculated that there will have to be an election, and the next November. It's not this coming November because we don't have enough time in between for them to have people to qualify and have 30 days to qualify and then 60 days before the election. The AG had issued an opinion back in 19 when we were writing for several different questions that that's your time frame. It so happened that year that they wrote for that. The November election was the same date it was this year, so they actually kind of laid those dates out, and it fit exactly and answered our questions this year. So there will have to be an election called. This board will adopt a resolution at some point notifying the county election commission who conducts that election to call that election, which will be for next November. The AG also, as a part of that opinion, stated that it would be the board member that was outgoing in March of 26 is the way that works. It said the next outgoing board member where someone was elected in November, the one that was going out the following February or following March, city council appoints them in February, would be the one that would, their term would be shortened by essentially a couple of months, where that elected board member in November would then actually take office as of the March date that when the city when that term would have ended. I'm sorry, but they would essentially they would not wait till the end for their term to end. It would end January 1 when that elected board member actually took office. So that's what we're looking for, an election November of 25.
So, council,
Yes, sir.
so are the numbers valid?
Yes, sir. We met again last week with two trustees, our computer experts, Mr. Chapman, Dr. Ellis. And they ran the numbers literally while we were sitting there again. Is it Miss Miller? Carter, Miss Carter, I'm sorry, Miss Carter. Is in charge of calculating that. She can pull the maps up and it literally shows you where every student is. And that 18% is a valid number. It had come down, when we first calculated, we were running at about 22, which we were really trying to figure out how we got that high that quickly. But when we reran the numbers, got the maps applied, Miss Carter, it's down to almost exactly 18%. So yes, we believe those numbers are valid.
18% rather than 22%.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It went down from 22.8, which was our first calculation that really caught our attention, how to get this high this quickly, but then the numbers are actually 18%.
So can you have more than 2 board members living in a separate school district?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can actually appoint all 5 board members. There were several AG opinions in researching this issue that said there's nothing that prohibits a city council from appointing more than, even when you're appointing board members, technically you could appoint all 5 from the separate school district. There's nothing that prohibits that. That's not likely to happen, but certainly you could have 2 appointed from the separate school district. But when you start electing, when you're required to have an election, you must have at least one, and it doesn't satisfy the requirement to appoint one. It has to be an elected one.
So the school district, I guess it's been about 20 years ago or longer, it was where it was one of the board members that was elected, that served on the board.
Mr. Smith, I don't remember that, but I was told that had happened.
I'm almost positive.
I've been working with the school board since July of 24, and to my knowledge, there has not been an elected board. Now, maybe they were elected right after that. Ma'am?
94?
I started in 2000. I'm sorry, July of 2000, I'm sorry. And so 24 years, and there's not been one elected since I've been here. Now, I'm not going to say there wasn't one on the board that had been elected previously, but there has not been a school trustee election since 20. But someone had told me that there had previously been
That
one.
the year
I
that
believe it was
Tony
Miss-
Crew was on.
I believe it was Miss Jean Bigelow.
Yeah,
I
Okay.
believe it was.
So I was not with Mr. Dunn at that point.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
So right now, we are legally covered, don't have to take no action.
No, sir, other than, at an appropriate time to pass a resolution and stating these numbers. And we'll calculate again. There's going to be another report that's due to the state early September, but then there's another date in October. Ms. Carter said that she'll run those numbers, and I think that'd be a good time to kind of certify that these are our numbers and ask the county election commission to then run an election.
So we have to file a report by September 1.
There's a report that it goes to the state by September the 1 that kind of addresses these numbers it's regarding some ad valorem tax exchange. But we will also, there's another report, I think Mr. Chapman was saying sometime in October. Or maybe Ms. Carter said there was another something due in October. Maybe when that's like our final date for calculating students. Okay. Yeah, and that's when a good time would be to just run our numbers then. There's no urgency because the election will not happen until November, but that'll be a good time to kind of stick with that date to calculate our numbers.
More questions? No? Okay, we'll move along. Thank you, Ms. Hemphill. Item 4C, goals updates, policy BA, safety report, and the number of accidents in schools is goal 4. Are there any questions about that report? I do have one. Dr. Ellis, COVID is really getting high in numbers. Are we keeping up with that in numbers wise? Can we get some information on that next month?
I will.
Okay, thank you. Number 2, superintendent's updates and reports. Number A is Columbus Municipal School District, Dr. Stanley K. Ellis, superintendent.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Of course, whenever we present, we always discuss our mission. Of course, the mission of the Columbus Municipal School District is that we will provide students with the skills necessary to be college, workforce, and enlistment ready by building bridges amongst parents, community, and district employees. Our vision is student-centered and excellence-driven. Of course, this is our strategic plan with the DRIVE acronyms there. And what I want to do today, because technically I don't have any data to share with you guys, but I wanted to give you guys an update on what's been taking place in the district. And so this is the administrative retreat from July 15th through 17th that took place at Plymouth Bluff. So there was a group of individuals that were out of Ole Miss, and they came down and they spent the day with us that first day, basically doing team building with the entire leadership team, from central office to building principals to directors at Plymouth Bluff. All right, these are some photos that were taken, candid shots that were taken at our convocation, which was a blast. We had a really good time, a lot of good information. We had representatives from MAE there. Of course, we had the mayor was there, board members were there as well. And so these are just some highlights of some of the things that took place on that particular day. All right, these are just photos of some of the teachers that are out in the commons area eating their lunch. We had boxed lunch that day. This is the guest speaker, Dr. Donnell Dickey, that came down to see us from Atlanta. These are our cheerleaders. They performed during the convocation. But the most important thing is that we were talking about the theme for this year, which is looking to the future by getting back to the basics. And those basics are reading, writing, and arithmetic. And so lest that I know the speaker was kind of reiterating the same types of things during his presentation when he spoke with all the staff. And so we realize that these things are maybe cliches, but if you can't read, we understand that there's going to be limits to the things that you can do. And these are some of the other things that we talked about: collaboration, talking about their character, education. Those things are very important. But also, when we work with our students, we want to make sure we personalize the learning for the student. It's not a one-shoe-fits-all. We got to make sure that we're being very strategic about that. All right, this talks about, these are other photos of candid shots. They were speaking with the guest speaker. These are some of the people that were there. Of course, they came last year. The mayor came, he spoke, the police chief came. We heard from our HR director and assistant HR director in regards to FMLA, Mississippi Code of Ethics. We're required to cover that each year, and so we wanted to make sure that people understood the parameters of the Mississippi Code of Ethics. I promise you cannot go over that enough. I can't tell you that, not just here, but other places I've gone as well. There's always going to be some people that are going to do some things in regards to that Mississippi Code of Ethics, which ultimately, sometimes they're not in their jobs anymore because of that. Ms. Rogers, our business manager, she was there, and she provided them with the procedures for purchasing and those types of things during that session. Mr. Chapman was there discussing Title IX, and we had Ms. Cornwall there as well, our federal programs director. Last Tuesday, we had Night Out on Crime. I had the opportunity to go around to each of the sites here in the city. It was a blast. Had a good time. Got a chance to kind of talk with some people that I hadn't seen in a while, and to touch bases with others. This is over at the East Columbus Gym, over with the brothers of Omega Sci-Fi. And so I was over there with them and talking with them, and they were doing some things for the kids that particular night. All right, this is McKellar Technology Center, and so we have drones in our district, and so what we wanted to do is to make sure that we could start telling our story. And so one of the things that when I talked with Ms. Pringle, we were discussing, and we says, well, how can we get photos of the tops of those buildings? And so we have students that are in our district. This kid named Justin Davis is in robotics, and so these are photos that were taken with our own drones of the tops of our buildings to kind of show people what have been done, what's been done with the ESSER funds that we have, because we want to make sure that we're keeping the public informed, understanding that we're being good stewards of the funds that we have. These are other photos that they took with those drones, which they're really, really good photos. You can pretty much see everything with some of the HVAC work that's been done there. These are other candid photos that's been taken in regards to the new roof that we have over at McKellar. This is some of the work that has been done over at Hunt. Mr. Chapman just gave you guys an update. Things are coming along pretty well. Of course, to kind of piggyback on what Mr. Chapman said, he talked to me this afternoon. He discussed with me about the challenges that we're having at Hunt in regards to the burglaries and that type of thing. And so tomorrow we're going to have some discussions around seeing what it would take to get a officer or somebody, security there from maybe the hours of 10 to 6 or something, because that seems like that's the times where people are trying to enter the building. So we'll have those conversations tomorrow. All right, these are other photos of Hunt, different things that are taking place at Hunt. Talks about the sprinkler systems, the main water lines, those types of things. So this is what it looks like at Hunt. These are recent photos of Hunt. All right, data. I know that this was done, and I wanted to make sure that I know that everybody's anticipating to everybody wants to know what's our accountability letter grade for this particular year. Today, this afternoon, we just got the preliminary data from the Department of Education. Of course, we have gotten the raw data about a month or so ago, and so we've been combing through that. But the things that we have from MDE today, it gives us an opportunity, a window of about 2 weeks to see if there's any discrepancies and that type of thing with the Department of Education, and then they will review it. So, but that data came today, and you know, the state board will approve that data at the September meeting, and once they approve that data at the September meeting, we will then go public to provide the stakeholders and the communities with updates on where all of our schools are and where the district is. But one thing I will say, that the Columbus Municipal School District is making leaps and strides in many, many areas. And so I feel that the board and the community will be very happy about the work that we've done here in the Columbus Municipal School District, because we are definitely putting a focus on teaching and learning. All right. This is the enrollment data. And this is just data from the first couple of weeks of school. Michelle pulled this data. At that time, we had about 2,940 students. It gives you the data by grade, by school, and the total number of students that are enrolled at this particular time. So next month, I have a little more data. Of course, you know, we just started school about 2 weeks ago, so I don't have a lot of that attendance, that absentee, those types of things, those leading and lagging indicators that we discuss with the board each and every month. So you'll have that data, and I'm very hopeful that sometimes in September, we'll be able to talk about the real data. All right? Does anybody have any questions, anything that you need to ask me, anything I need to do better?
So, Doc,
Yes, sir.
the data that you just recently received today, we don't expect any changes, right?
No, sir. I think
Okay,
we're in a good,
pretty bad.
we're on solid ground. And I can say that with all certainty. We're in a really good place. Very good place.
Dr. Shoemaker.
Yes, ma'am.
I love this work that Justin Davis has done. Do you think he might be able to go over to Cook and the other buildings where we've had stuff installed on the roof and get
Yes, ma'am.
photos of that as well?
Yes, ma'am. You must be
Great.
reading Ms. Pringle's mind. That's what we discussed. That was just a little trial to kind of see it.
It's
And then
really
she says,
good.
yeah, they did a really good job. We were
Yeah.
thinking about
That's
who do we have to bring in to do that, but we already have the talent and all the resources to do that.
That's great.
In the district, and so we're happy about that. Any other questions, comments? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ellis. Item B, CMSD Athletic Extracurricular Update, Mr. Torrey Harris, Athletic Director.
Good evening, everybody. How
Good
everybody
evening.
doing today? Give you a little update on athletics moving forward. I won't read the mission statement again, but that's where we start with all our presentations, our vision. I will read our athletic department mission. The Columbus Municipal School District Athletic Department will provide opportunities for students to participate in a variety of competitive sports and activities, as well as develop good sportsmanship and other attributes of a well-rounded student. These are the sports that we present for our student athletes, and we provide a lot for our student athletes. Within those sports now, I want us to be very aware that we do have a lot of first-year coaches this year. We have a lot of first-year head coaches, and we want to make sure that we're providing support for those coaches. I have over 17 years' experience of being a head coach, so I will be there firsthand to make sure that I can provide knowledge or whatever support that they need. We do have some coaches on staff that have been here that are tenured, and we're going to lean on them heavily too. But we're going to make sure that we provide support for our first-year students, because it's hard getting teachers now as well as coaches, and they come together. So we want to make sure that we're growing our people. I want to provide some professional development for those coaches. We want to grow them. We want to grow them in their leadership capacity, because we look at our head coaches as being leaders, but our assistants are leaders too. And we want to make sure that we're providing them with an opportunity to grow. And then when we do have an opening, that we got people to pull from. And if they're not able to, they're able to go somewhere else and provide that, because we're supporting and we're providing opportunities for them. And that may help us grow and obtain other talented coaches or teachers. This is our visual and performing arts vapor. This is important too. I've been at schools where arts and performing are very important. These are students that provide an opportunity. Everybody can't be an athlete, but this is an opportunity that you can get an opportunity to go to college or find an interest in other like students and provide an opportunity for them to stay and be involved in the school and support our school as much as possible. These are updates from that walkthrough that we had while I was with you guys. As you can see, that ice chest that we talked about is there, it's functional. I wanted you guys to see that. The fencing project, we have the 2 bids. Now it's just a point of getting everything ran through and getting that project started. The cheers for the meeting room, the visitors locker room, we have the 2 bids for that, 2 quotes. So now it's just getting that going through and getting that ordered and getting everything going with that. We will meet with the sound system guy for the for the football complex, and also going to put that in the baseball, softball complex. We want to make sure that we're Title IX compliant, so that those girls have an opportunity to softball girls. That Bluetooth sound system, we'll have one going through the football complex. We also do it for baseball and softball. Our goals: to assist in improving the athletic facilities for all sports and activities, support coaches and student athletes to ensure success, provide support that helps coaches improve their leadership abilities, translating to better success throughout our schools and sports teams. Going to be really stressing as we move forward education-based athletics. We want those courts, fields, theater activities to be in sync with what we got going on in that classroom. Because a good teacher should be a good coach. They're doing the same thing. If you're a good coach, you're doing the same thing in the practice field that you can be doing in that classroom. So we want to make sure that everything's in line. This is some pictures from a facility visit to Tupelo High School. I put that picture on here because I want you to understand we'll never just buy equipment. Like that's a Vertimax. That's really good equipment for our student athletes, but we'll never just buy equipment just to have it as a coach and now as an athletic director. It bothers me to see equipment just laying around. I want to make sure before we purchase or do anything with equipment that first our coaches understand how to utilize that equipment properly, and then that they have a plan to use that equipment. You'll see pictures, these next two pictures of flies. I want that falcon everywhere. I want those students to walk in and see our student athletes to see that falcon pride, that what we're here for. That's my presentation. Any questions, anybody? We met with FCA this past week, and starting August 3rd, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I'm sorry, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. We will get that going August 30th, every 2 weeks at the high school, and then that following week, remember, August 23rd at the high school, and every other week after that, where they will meet in the 7:45. We'll start at 8, be done at 8:15, to get some praise and some word for our young athletes and any other students that want to partake in it. And we'll start that next week, following week at the middle school. So
That's
we
awesome.
really want to push that. Yes, sir.
What process are we using, you using as the athletic director to hold the coaches accountable?
We have two forms that we send out. We have a athletic cleanliness form that they have to turn in to me every Friday. And I will also use that form to do checks throughout. So they have to turn it, it's a 5-day, they're using that facility. They have to mark it for 5 days, and they turn it in to me at the end of the week. And I'll also see.
Does every sport does every coach in each sport have an assistant?
Every coach at this moment has an assistant.
From soccer, volleyball, whatever the
Volleyball,
case may be.
Soccer boys and girls, they're working, the head coach is working as the girls' assistant for boys, and the boys' coach is helping the girls. So we do not have assistants for soccer technically, but they're working hand in hand.
So soccer is the only coach that does not have an assistant
Soccer at this moment, yes.
at this present time.
At this present time. Well, it's going to probably be like that this season, and then that's on the list with baseball to make sure that they're some of the first hires that we look at in this next hiring cycle.
Okay, my last question is,
Yeah.
Since you've been in the district as the AD for what, about 2 months?
Give or take 2 months. We'll say 2 months.
Okay, I'm close to that then, right?
Close.
So as the AD athletic director, what are the biggest challenges that you face since you've been in the district, serving as athletic director?
Making sure each coach had the number of support, because when I came in, we were still short coaches and our teaching spots were filled. So we had to kind of get coaches from other sports who wanted to help out. So we'll have coaches coaching multiple sports this year. Next year, we'd like to get some more standalone coaches, and that's also help with get more teachers also too. But that's been the biggest thing, making sure that every coach has the necessary help and support. Any other questions, anyone?
Thank you, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, guys.
Moving to item 4C, special programs, special education, gifted 504 services, Mrs. Valerie Bailey, Director.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Again, we have the district mission. I'm not going to read it. It just follows along with what Dr. Ellis had stated in his PowerPoint. But we do have a special program's purpose, and it is to supply the effective use of our DEA funds to support students with an educational learning plan that meets each individualized need. Teachers and administrators with professional development that helps to implement effective instruction, and parents with transparency in their child's education plan. We have non-public data in Mill Creek. That's our School 500. We have 6 daycares that we are servicing at the moment with 5 students. We have, on the other daycare, we have one that's forthcoming because we have a child find in that hasn't given eligibility yet, but that child find is in. We have Head Start, 2 students, and we have more that have been referred but do not have eligibility yet. With Head Start, within the first 45 days, we screen those students, and that's how we get our referrals in from Head Starts in order to provide eligibility to the students that are needed. For the private schools that are parentally placed, we work with Annunciation Catholic School, and we had 15 kids, students that came back from last year, and we had 28 from Heritage Academy that came back from last year as well. On our private placements in private facilities, which is Mill Creek, we have 7 students that are attending Mill Creek. Our school classroom data, we have Cook Elementary, which houses 2 inclusion teachers that are 2 self-contained teachers that are upper level 3rd grade through 5th grade, and 1 teacher, we have 1 that's upper level 3rd through 5th grade and 1 that's lower level kindergarten through 2nd grade. We have 1 resource teacher there, and we have that's 1st through 3rd grade, and then we have 2 inclusion teachers that are upper level 3rd through 5th grade and lower level K through 2nd grade. I have a correction on that 2 self-contained. We now have 3 self-contained classrooms at Cook. 2 of them service the kids that are lower, kindergarten through 2nd grade, and then we have the 1 that's on the upper level 3rd through 5th grade. At Fairview, we have 2 inclusion teachers, 1 at the upper level, 1 at the lower level, and we have 30 students at Fairview. At Cook, we have 66 students there so far. At Franklin, we have 2 inclusion teachers, 1 upper level, 1 lower level, with 29 students. At Sale, we have 2 inclusion teachers, 1 upper, 1 lower, and we have 33 students at Sale. At Stokes Beard, we have 1 self-contained teacher, and we have 1 resource teacher and 2 inclusion teachers. And we have 45 students at Stokes Beard. Union Success Academy, we have 1 teacher that's secondary level and also has half of his day split with JDC. Then we have an elementary teacher there that's shared also with a half a day as homebound. Columbus Middle School, we have 1 self-contained teacher, 1 resource teacher, 8 inclusion teachers with 102 students. Columbus High School, we have 2 self-contained teachers, 2 resource teachers, 7 inclusion teachers, and 110 students. But I want you to know that every day we're getting in new students. The majority of them are transfer students at this time, and we've received a whole lot of child finds. So we do expect the student numbers to increase. We have 6 SLPs, and you saw the SLPs that were there. Two of them are shared with, one with the middle school in Franklin, the other one the high school in Stokes, and the other 3 schools have their own SLPs. And those are speech language pathologists. The total number of IEP students that we have in the district, we have 66 at Cook, we have 30 at Fairview, 29 at Franklin, 33 at Sale, 45 at Stokes Beard, 102 at the middle school, 110 at the high school, and 59 in our School 500. That's a total of 474 students. And like I said, those numbers are up a little bit because within the last week, we've had students to transfer in, as well as we're getting ready to process the child fines. Office of Special Programs staff, we have a director, administrative assistant, 6 speech pathologists, 1 psychometrist. We have a psychologist that we contract out who comes in to work with our students. We have a gifted coordinator, 2 case managers, 42 certified teachers, 11 paraprofessionals, and 2 behavior specialists. 504 accommodation plans. We have 1 at Cook. We have 3 504 accommodation plans at Fairview. We do not have any at Franklin at the time. We have 2 at Sale, 5 at Stokes Beard, 7 at Columbus Middle, 6 at Columbus High, for a total of 24 students with 504 accommodation plans. We partner with the MDRS, which is the Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation Services. They help our students with special needs to have future endeavors for post-secondary life skills. They help out with the schools. We have the Project Search that they started with the county, and we've now decided to send our students there. We have 1 student going to Project Search this year so far. We anticipate more to get on board with going out there. Ability Works is another part of the MDRS program. We work with Ability Works with our special needs students as well. We have their coordinator is coming in to help us out this year because we lost ours last year. She'll be working at the Ability Works Center, but she'll be coming over to work with our students. They help our students to become career ready in their own special way when looking toward the future after they graduate from high school. They provide those job skills and trade skills. Professional developments. These are the professional developments we anticipate having this year. Child fine tracking, speech mini PDs, IEP writing PDs, epilepsy, the AAC device training, and we do include the public in on that one. Timelines, and we want to meet our timelines for MDE. Departmental meetings, we host those weekly. Job descriptions, just making sure everyone is doing what they're supposed to be doing within their job description, and the diabetes professional development. This was our AAC device training from the previous year. We do anticipate having a larger crowd this year because from that training, I had a lot of good feedback from it, and even people in the community were interested in it. So this year, we hope that we get a larger number than we had last year. The IEP 101 training was very beneficial, and we anticipate doing it a little bit different this year. We're going to bring in MDE to help us out with those trainings, and also we're going to have many PD trainings monthly when it comes to working with the teachers to support them with the IEP writing. Gifted. These are the numbers for our gifted students. This is the testing that we did at the end of last year and over the summer for the 23-24 Current roster, we had 33 students at CMS. We had 48 at Cook, 27 at Fairview, 17 at Franklin, 27 at Sale, and 18 at Stokes Beard. First graders, we didn't have any screened at CMS, but 76 were screened at Cook, 26 at Fairview, 42 at Franklin, 44 at Sale, and 66 at Stokes Beard. Current referrals that are in office now to be tested are 9 at CMS, 41 at Cook, 27 at Fairview, none at Franklin, 21 at Sale, and 23 at Stokes Beard, and we still have more to come. The roster breakdown for the School of Cook, second grade has 10, third grade 12, fourth grade 12, fifth grade 13, EL 7, twice exceptional 5 students, total roster of 48. We are down 1 from the 23-24 school year. Fairview, 8 in the second grade, 8 in the third, 6 in the fourth, 5 in the fifth, 0 EL students, 2 twice exceptional, and a total of 27. We are up 7 from last year. 4 for Franklin, 4 in the second grade, 2 in the third, 6 in the fourth, 5 in the fifth, 2 in EL students, 0 twice exceptional, 17 total roster, we're up 3. Sale, 10 in the second grade, 8 in the third, 3 in the fourth, 6 in the fifth, 0 EL students, 1 twice exceptional student, 27 total, we're up 10. Stokes Beard, 4 in the second grade, 5 in the third, 3 in the fourth, 6 in the fifth, 0 EL students, 1 twice exceptional, total roster 18, and we're down 1. CMS, 20 in the sixth grade, 12 in the seventh, 1 in the eighth, EL students 2, twice exceptional students 3, total roster of 33. We're down 18 students. And the reason why we're down so many students at CMS, a lot of those students moved to the high school, and we do not have those gifted students at the high school level. Upcoming events, Elementary Spirit Gallery Exhibit, Moana Jr. Oh, this is old, I'm sorry about that. Miss Rowling did not update the upcoming events. I guess she don't have them at this time. This was her slide that she was supposed to update, but this is the one from last year. So we'll get that updated on the upcoming events at the next board presentation. Are there any questions or concerns?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Bailey, whose responsibility is it at each school to make sure each student IEP is up to date?
It is the teacher's responsibility for one. Then it rolls, we have kind of like, let me see how to say it. We have case managers that are over the teachers, and then I'm over the case managers. So we all work together. The case managers are always looking into our C's database program. Once you click into that database program, it gives you the outdated numbers of IEPs that may be outdated or upcoming events. So we all have our eyes on what's coming up, what to be due, or what's overdue. So the teachers are the first and foremost person that's responsible for those students and their IEPs. The case managers help to make sure that they have everything correct in the order and the time that they need to have it done in.
So as director, how often do you go out to the schools to follow up to make sure that the case manager and the teachers are supposed to be doing what they're supposed to be doing?
Okay, I'm in the buildings. I may not be in every building every day because I have so many buildings, the 8 that are here, and then I have the Head Starts and the daycares, but I'm in the buildings. I'm in there often.
So as a director, how do you know whether or not the case manager or the teachers are doing what they're supposed to do concerning each student IEP?
I'm talking to them all the time on what's going on out in the buildings, as well as the principals. The principals give their input as well.
So do you have an assistant director?
I do not.
Have you ever had assistant director?
I have,
When was the last time you had assistant director?
year before last.
Thank you.
Mhm.
What, how do you track and make sure that a student don't get caught, you know? Some children start out in sped at the beginning of their school career, and sometimes because they start out, they are stuck. There no one tracking to make sure those kids are advancing. Or some students may be having a problem early, but are y'all evaluating them every 3 years? You're doing all the stuff, make sure how many are watching the numbers, and it look like our numbers kind of hanging around. For me, when I first got on the board, when I saw and what I see now, that's really I'm asking this question: is what are you doing to say, okay, Johnny is maybe he don't need to be in here, he need to be gone?
Okay, we have progress monitoring that our teachers do on a daily basis when they provide those services. At the end of every 9 weeks, there's a report of progress that they have to complete in our SEES database that pertains to how that student has progressed over the first 9 weeks. If that student is progressing, they can progress out with sufficient passing grades. As they progress and they go over they come out of those goals, it just depends on where they are in their goals. Because some students may be years behind, and we're trying to bridge that gap to catch them up to the grade level that they're on. Now, and that's the majority of the students. So it's not like they just come out of SPED. We're bridging that gap to get them where they're supposed to be because they're so far behind. And then we have the evaluations that we conduct. A student can be evaluated yearly if needed. The teachers, the principals, the case managers, and myself, we're often talking about the students and their progress within their educational levels. Now, we do provide evaluations every 3 years if it's warranted. We do evaluate them every 3 years, but it could be a short evaluation or it could be a long, comprehensive evaluation. It just depends on where that child is with his academic studies. So they're being done. They have to be done. It's law that we have to provide them with a 3-year evaluation.
So you have that information where it's accurately recorded that if somebody walk in and say, I need to see this last time this child was evaluated and what are the steps been taken to.
Yes, we do. And we provide eligibility reports with all that data on it. It gives the last time that child was evaluated and when that child is needed to be evaluated again. And then there again, it's in our system. Because when you evaluate them, you have to input it in the system and it automatically generates to give us a warning when it's time for another evaluation to be done.
And I understand it's in the system, but who monitoring the system?
We are.
The system don't monitor themselves.
Right, I am, my case managers, the teachers, we're monitoring the system, yes.
You finished? Rick? You
I
finished?
had a question.
Go ahead, Howard.
Okay. Ms. Bailey, how are you? How often and what steps are used to ensure our teachers are being properly trained on IEPs?
We come together, me and the case managers, they do more of their conversing with the case managers because they're in the buildings all the time. And when they talk to them, they tell them, what they need help with. And they come to me and I provide that support for them. They supply the support on their level, and then when we need professional development, they'll come to me and I'll schedule those professional developments. We had a meeting today to start our professional developments for this year. So we went to the MDE site and chose the professional developments that we needed, that we think they'll benefit from most, to put that on the list for the first professional developments. Hopefully we'll get started with 2 of them each month from MDE that will also supply us with the mini Ps to follow up with, to give feedback on monthly that I talked about earlier.
Okay. So at this time, specifically, I guess I'm kind of back to the question, specifically just on IEPs, how do we train our teachers, at the beginning of the year so everybody's on the same page, or do the case managers go around to each building? How is that training specifically put in place to help our teachers to make sure that every all across the board in the district, we're doing the same exact thing for the IEPs.
Okay, so my case managers are out there providing the support on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, you know, because some of them may come to them with questions on a daily basis and they answer them. Then they have those mini PDs monthly where they group them together and work with them on the IEPs. And then I bring in the professional developments. We have had them, we do have them at the beginning of the year, where I bring in someone to train them. Then I bring in my C's account people on the database system, and they not only work with them on the C's program, but they also work with them on the IEP inputs on what should be in the IEP as they put it into C. So it's kind of like they're getting a double dose of it.
Do you do any training yourself?
I haven't done any training myself. I can, but I've always brought in somebody else to do it.
And why are we bringing some, I'm just asking why we
Well, the
bringing someone else
C's
if we have the-
database was
if
new
we
to
have
the
the
district.
resources to do it?
I'm sorry. The C's database, what I brought in the training on, was new to the district. The IEP training and stuff, when they come in, I do, you know, put my input on it, but I just always have brought in somebody else to do those trainings for the IEPs. IEPs are changing with MDE. They may have changes that come up in the IEPs on a yearly basis. Nothing really stays the same with MDE. There are always little changes. Like this year, we had number changes that came in on accommodations. So as they get the changes come in, they offer the free PDs, and I accept those free PDs from MDE.
Do you have no, you have no question? Okay, so, Ms. Bailey,
Oh,
so you can't
I
hear
thought
me?
you were talking. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we would agree that students' IEP are very important, is that
Yes.
correct? All right, so there have been some problems at one time in the district as far as IEPs not being up to date, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier when I asked you that you have an assistant director, right?
Right.
You say you do not have an
I do
assistant.
not have one.
So why you don't have an assistant director?
We'll-
Assistant director's in the budget, is that not correct?
It is in the budget.
Okay,
We have been working, trying to get an assistant director in place. We just haven't put one in place yet.
but why haven't one been hired?
Can I get someone else to answer that question?
Ma'am?
Can I get someone else to answer that question?
Yes, I
Ms.
think the
Wilson?
board need to know.
Well, I can answer it. We have been looking for an assistant director. She didn't have one when I came last year. That was a concern for me then. One of the things that I wanted to do this year is to make sure that we got an assistant director. This is a pretty large district, and she's got a large population of special ed. But to answer the question, she has interviewed. We're vetting these people, and we want to make sure that we have the right person in place that's gonna be a good fit for the work that's gonna have to take place in the Columbus Municipal School District. So we have not selected anybody yet, but we are nearing the selection process. And she's got, I think, one or two more people that she's gonna speak with, and then we will get to a point where we will be in a position to make a decision, make the best decision from the candidates that we have that are gonna be a good fit.
So, okay, since you answered the question, Dr.
Yes,
Evans,
sir.
so do we have an idea when someone will be hired?
Well, I want to move as quick as possible. I was talking with my leadership team the other day, and I told them I'm ready to strike the match. And so I look to have a recommendation to this board by the next board meeting.
So do we have anyone within the district that's qualified?
Certainly, there are some individuals that are qualified, but being here for the time that I've been here, I got to make sure that they're going to be a good fit for the position, so to speak.
So if a person that works in the district is qualified, like we've done before in other positions, they will be given an opportunity. Is that not correct?
We've interviewed people in the district since they've been interviewing. They've interviewed some of the employees that are currently in the district, so they have. And
So when you said they good fits or what make a person coming from somewhere else, make them fit so well. A district that they know nothing about, have nowhere, and then you got people here who are been loyal to your district, are qualified, everything else, so what's the fit thing?
I think that's something that, as being an educator, I think that I have a good grasp on what's needed for that particular department. Being here last year, we had some concerns with that department, and I just want to make sure that we've got the right person in the right place to be able to support her to do the work that's going to need to be done over there. I don't know if that really answered your question directly, but I mean, making sure that a person is a good fit. Number one, my main priority is to make sure that I look at people that are within first, because when I came here, I told the public that I want to develop a pipeline of leadership. And so in doing so, I want to make sure that I'm working with the people that I have, but some of the people that are on my team, they may not necessarily be ready for that. And so they have to be groomed to be able to go into those positions.
So that's my
So-
point, that person that's in the district might not be in that category right now, but they could be groomed.
Right.
And so that would show them that also it's a plus for being loyal to this district, putting in the work, putting in the time. So just like you can bring somebody from outside and got to groom them, we can groom somebody from in here. That what you think?
Yes, I'm always looking inside first. That's my number one priority, is to make sure that I'm looking at the talent that I have around me.
Any more questions? Thank you, Ms. Bailey. Moving to item 5, open forum, policy BCBD. Chief Brown? No one. Thank you. Moving to item 6, Office of the Superintendent, Dr. Stanley K. Ellis. School operations, Superintendent travel? None. Item 2, Superintendent's recommendations. 2A is the consideration and/or discussion to approve staff personnel items submitted by the Office of Human Resources.
Mr. Smith?
Mr. Smith is, he don't need to recuse. I think he's good. We checked. Okay, we're both good. Yeah, I made some notes, but we're both good on this one. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Ms. Young. Any discussion? All in favor? Item 2B, consideration and/or discussion to approve supplemental pay submitted by the Office of Human Resources. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Young and a second by Mr. Richardson. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Moving to item 7, Office of Business Management, Columbus Municipal School District Business Administrator, discussion of the following items. 7A, consideration to approve monthly financial reports, DI. Number 1 is the fixed asset disposals. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Shoemake and a second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Item 2 is the claims docket. Mr. Smith will
Madam
recuse.
President.
Yes, sir. Item 2 is the claims docket. A, paid accounts payable claims for board ratification. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll make the second. We have a motion by Mr. Richardson and a second by myself, Dr. Brown. Any discussion? All in favor? 7.2B, held accounts payable claims to the Columbus Light and Water Department. Is there a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Dr. Shoemake and a second by Ms. Young.
Yes.
Any questions? All in favor? We are on item C, 7AC, regular accounts payable claims docket. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Young and a second by Mr. Richardson. Any questions? All in favor? Item 7B is for your information, the Chief Financial Officer updates. Number 1 is the monthly ad valorem tax collection analysis report, policy DI. And number 2 is the student event activity report. Are there any questions about those two reports? None? Thank you. Moving to the consent item 8A. Number 1 is consideration and/or discussion to approve the following new and updated policies listed A through F. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Young and a second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All in favor? Part B of this, the consideration and/or discussion to approve agreements, contracts, memorandums of understanding, out-of-state travel, field trips, and student transfers. We'll talk about all of them except number 4. Mr. Smith will have to recuse for number 4, but 1 to 3 and 5 to 21. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Mr. Richardson. Any discussion about those?
Yes. On the public information proposal, Doc, is this just a one-time deal? Yes, sir. Okay. For 6 days for that amount? Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you.
All in favor? Okay. Mr. Smith will recuse for item 4. The motion was made by Mr. Smith. And the second by Mr. Richardson. For item 4, which is the Columbus Light and Water Partnership Agreement with Stokes Beard Elementary School, submitted by the Office of the Superintendent. Is there a motion?
So move.
I'll make the second.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll make the second. We have a motion by Mr. Richardson and a second by myself, Dr. Brown. Any questions about that one? All in favor? Thank you. Okay. We're on page 4, Mr. Smith. Item C, dates to remember, policy BCBD. Number 1 is the academics section. On August 29th, there'll be progress reports, and August 30th, parent conference, student holiday. Number 2, athletics, there are attachments for your review. Number 3, board meetings, September 4th, for the Board of Trustees review meeting at Stokes Beard at 11:30 a.m. And September 9th, the Board of Trustee regular meeting at Brandon Central Services Center at 5 o'clock p.m. Item 9, closed determination for executive session, policy BCBK. Is there a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion, no second. Audience, will you dismiss, and I will inform you of our items for discussion momentarily. Thank you. In our executive session, we approved minutes, 2 sets of minutes, and the recommendation of the superintendent. Moving to item 12, adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Ms. Young. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Y'all have a good evening.
Okay, y'all don't run off because we have, wait,
Yeah, they right here.
okay.
Uh-huh.
We got stuff to sign.
Yeah, that's all right. We got it.